Hello and welcome, guys, to the Young Success Story podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Jaden. Our goal is to document the journey of some of the most successful young minds around the globe. We hope to highlight their path, showing their failures, successes, and shine a light on the road less travelled.
There's no such thing as an overnight success. Everyone has their own journey, and we are lucky enough to share some of their stories with you. Today, we're joined by Jashan Prasad. We talk about some of his successes, failures, and learn some key points on how to market properly on social media.
That's my beard. Looks alright.
Looks good.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's get into it. So, Jashan, driving
Yes.
in here.
Oh,
Pull
no.
up to your house.
Oh,
Nice
no.
house. Great, nice house. You know,
Beautiful,
corner
beautiful.
block, beautiful, big two-story house. And I look slightly to my right. Half of this nice Jeep Gladiator is blue, and sitting next to it is this nice Mercedes that's half red.
Yeah.
What's happening there? What's the go with that?
I wish I had a good answer for you, to be honest. No, so that was just a bit of content where. Why did I do Cassie's? I did hers for some reason.
Who was first?
Well, I did Cassie's first, and then I posted the content, and it went to a vote to the audience saying if this video gets this many likes or comments or whatever it was, then I'll do my one blue. And within 2 days, I think, I was painting my one as well. I was like, damn it, I should have like tripled that number, right? I could have got so much more engagement, but no.
Or even more.
Yeah, it was a deal with the comments section, I guess. So,
Devastating.
yeah. But it looks all right though. It turned out better. I prefer the red.
You prefer the red?
Yeah, the blue, I don't know. It looks all right from a distance, but when you're a bit closer up, it's a bit botchy, and when the sun's beaming on it, it just looks terrible. So it is peelable though. It can be peeled off.
Is that what you're going to do, or how you just going to leave it like that? What's the plan?
Yeah, I will peel it off at just. It's going to take a
ASAP?
while.
Yeah.
It's going to take. I tried this little corner, and it like peeled off the tiniest bit and then just ripped. I was just like,
Oh no, I remember.
Oh my
I did the
God.
exact same thing. You know when you get your first car and you're like, oh, I want to make it look a bit cooler. So
Yeah,
what's the
that's what I
first
did
thing you
here.
do?
Yeah, this is my first
you spray paint the wheels black, and I was like, oh yeah, my mates were like, yeah, get this plastic dip thing. It'll peel straight off. So I sprayed everything. And then like a month later, I was like, oh, it looks shocking. I'll just take it off. They said it comes off easy. Exact same thing, just flaked off. I was there for like 2.5 days, like scrubbing them, because I decided to sell the car because I was like, no, I'm over it. Decided to sell it. Was there scrubbing the wheels for literally days.
I don't really want to be hearing this right now.
I'm so sorry.
I was thinking of doing it like this weekend, but I know it's going to take some time. So yeah. We'll see how it goes.
All right, well, let's get into it. So, run me back. The life of Jashan. Take me back to sort of childhood and sort of how this all sort of started. What were you like as a kid? What did you do as a kid? And then sort of how did you...
I did have hair as a kid.
Did have hair. I've seen some photos.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can get some photos. They're pretty funny. In the late stages of Jashan with hair, it's pretty funny.
It's funny is that just the other day, how's this? Yeah, it's back to the comment section again, but
Yeah.
a guy in my comments said, everyone like this, so Jashan sees it, and let's get him to show us a photo of him with hair. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So I'm like, all right, 500 likes in 24 hours, and you got a deal, and it happened.
You got to start upping these numbers.
Yeah, I know. I'm too generous. Maybe I kind of wanted to get a photo of me with
Yeah,
hair
yeah,
out there,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it
It's like
exists.
probably the best photo of me that exists, but let's see what you think of it, and I'll send it to you as well if you want it.
Oh, bro, that is not real.
I look all right, eh?
You look all right.
It's
All right's the word. You
Yeah.
look all right.
It's probably the best I've ever looked, so I'll forever just be all right, eh?
Fuck, that's great. I prefer the bald Jashan. I like it. I like
Well,
it.
it's like that now. It's like all these hair transplants and stuff are happening. It's like,
Yeah. I'm ready.
do I get it? But yeah, it's if I ever got that, I think I'd still keep it pretty buzz cut,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, but I don't know. I'd feel weird having hair again.
I was skeptical on him at first, and then I saw how good Austin's one
It's
was.
come out good.
Bro,
It's come
he's
out good.
hot now.
Yeah.
Austin, you're hot now. Send me a DM.
Yeah.
I miss you. It's crazy.
And
the difference is crazy.
Yeah, it's been they've been getting around, eh? And
Yeah.
I've thought about it, but it's like,
They're not cheap. So
Yeah,
like, you've got
I
to
know.
really
Yeah.
want it. You've got to really want it, you know. Like if you're half thinking about it, it's probably not ideal to fork out 20 grand or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, if you get it early enough, they supposedly last a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Apparently, I'm still only half-assed with hair, so maybe not. But no, growing up, I feel like everything probably took off from skateboarding. Skateboarding is probably the roots of everything in my life, I'd say.
Skater as a young one, hey?
Yeah.
How old are we talking? Like kid or like teenager?
No, I probably got into it, grade 7 or something maybe. So what's that, 12 years old?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, about that.
Got into it back then, and then all us brothers did, all 4 of us did. And JJ, he was only like 5. JJ was like 4 at the time, and he was crazy good for his age, eh?
Yeah. He was
pretty
like coordinated.
He was
athletic kid.
Yeah. For his age, there was no one doing what he was jumping down like 8 stairs and stuff at 8.
Oh, really?
At like 6 years old and 5. He kickflipped a 6 stair at 5 years old.
What?
Did a kickflip down a 6 stair. Yeah, we've
Can't
got
even do that now.
I really wish old video cameras, you know how they're all just tapes.
Yeah,
We've got a
yeah.
box of tapes somewhere, and no one knows where it is. But we've been dreaming of finding that box for years.
That'd be sick.
We've got so much footage from when we were all kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, skating. We all sort of got into skating.
Yeah.
Doing that for years, and then one day injured my knee really badly.
Yeah.
Which put me out for 2 years. That's the first time I injured my knee. I've done it a few times now.
Yeah.
But yeah, put me out of skating for 2 years, and I was all.
How old were you the first time?
It would have first happened when I was probably 19, 20.
And you were pretty serious with skating then?
Yeah, well, I don't really know what serious skating means. Anyone that skates and does it for long enough, they feel like they're pretty serious about it. So, but yeah, I'd been skating for, that's good 7, 8 years at that point. And I always enjoyed being behind a camera and just like taking photos of skating when it happened, but I sort of never really took the photography side seriously until I did my injury, which put me off a board for 2 years. So I sort of had no other option. If I wanted to go out skating, I was generally just behind the camera shooting photos. So yeah, in a way, I feel like it was sort of like a blessing, not a blessing in disguise, but it's almost like it was meant to happen. Yeah. Because from there, photography sort of became a career. Started shooting for a lot of skate magazines to start with, and then one thing sort of led to another, and ended up shooting some weddings. My cousin over in Perth, she was getting married, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to shoot my wedding?" I'm like, I don't know. There's a lot behind a wedding. If I shoot a wedding, I'd rather you get someone that knows what they're doing. And she's like super casual, and she was just like, "Oh, we weren't even going to get a photographer. We were just going to get like disposable cameras for guests to take photos and stuff on every table." I'm like, all right, well, I know I can do better than that, so I'll shoot it for you.
If that's the expectation, no problem.
Yeah, I felt good about that. And then, so shot that wedding, and then, sort of enjoyed it. And then I knew these guys down in Sydney. They sort of had a wedding photography company, and he was also, David Manor is his name. He is pretty high up in the hair fashion world. He now owns a hair fashion magazine and stuff, but I was sort of friends with them from living in Sydney in earlier days, and just said, hey, and they did a lot of wedding stuff, and I said, hey, can I just come down there? I'll work for you guys for free, and I just need to learn everything about this business. I want to get into it. So sort of packed my stuff 3 months into a relationship with Cassie.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, not a no, because you're still together, but
brand new relationship, and I was like, babe, I'm packing up and I'm going to Sydney. So I turned it into a long distance one for us.
Oh no.
No money.
So she didn't come, she stayed here.
No, because she was studying nursing as well, so she couldn't leave. And
lucky her.
Hey, easy way to get out of hanging out every day, I guess. But no, it was pretty early on, and she was real good. She was super supportive of that. Knew I wanted to do it, so went down there with nothing. And
how old were you when you went down there?
I would have been about 21, 22 at this stage, and then literally had nothing. I was like literally sleeping. Went down there with a bunch of skaters because we were always shooting. So I was like, how about we all go on a road trip to Sydney, but yous will have to fly back because I'm staying there.
Yeah.
So we all drove down. Was shooting some photos and stuff, and then ended up staying. We had no place, so one of my mates down in Sydney, he was dating this girl whose parents lived in the city, overlooking Sydney Harbour, and it was like awesome location. They had like this rooftop terrace.
Yeah.
So me and like 3 other guys, we just pitched a tent on that rooftop, and we lived there for
your friend's parents' place.
friend's girlfriend's
Girlfriend's-
parents' place.
Oh,
So
and they
awkward
live
as
there?
hell. I don't think.
They
Yeah,
were cool with it, or
I don't know. I never spoke a word to the parents. We just tried to sneak in and out. There was like a stairs that went like a quick shoot straight to the front door.
yeah.
We didn't even meet the parents. We just-
How long were you there for?
we were there for a few weeks. And then he ended up breaking up with her, so we had to
You had
jet
to
as
leave.
well.
Oh no!
So he was homeless, we
That's
were homeless.
selfish.
So yeah,
That's selfish of him.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. What is he thinking? That, you know, that relationship was riding us, four of us as well. You know, it's
I
not just
know.
you, bro.
Yeah,
like,
don't
come
be so
on.
selfish. Come on, for the boys.
But no, that was a bit of fun. But yeah, ended up staying down there for a good close to a year, I think. Just learning from this wedding photography company, and came back and sort of started it up for myself here, and yeah, things sort of went that way. Yeah,
Sick. So what, you were down there for how long did you say?
close to a year it would have been.
Oh wow, hectic. And you stayed with your partner the whole time.
Yeah,
She's supportive. I don't know if I could do that.
yeah.
That's
No, she was
a
real
quick way
good.
to find if she's a real one.
Yeah, yeah, it all happened pretty quick. That was like
After
real
3
early
months
on,
too.
and then yeah, and
3
then-
months is pretty early.
So yeah, she came down there, and it's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
1 hour
Sydney's
flight,
not
so
far,
yeah.
it's easy to deal with. But yeah, it's still not easy at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's big commitment from her. So.
How
Babe, good on you, babe.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you did all right, eh?
Yeah.
how long did it take you once you were back up here to get the business going up here?
It was definitely slow. So I started contracting with a couple of other companies as well. So and that just got me shooting weddings a lot up here.
Yeah.
So contracting with them, and they were sort of just shooting heaps of weddings, so I could basically take on as many as I wanted, which worked out because it meant I got to just build my confidence in doing
practice.
it still, and got to the point where by the time I booked my first wedding for myself, I was pretty confident in what I was doing. I wasn't feeling like I was still a beginner needing someone else there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting that first job is definitely hard.
Oh, of course.
And yeah, I'm trying to. I think I ended up when I first launched, just decided to do a big giveaway. Just give away one wedding, and then everyone was at the old. Everyone's a runner-up, you know. Everyone got a runner-up email, which gave them an offer off the back of it. If they took advantage of that in the next few weeks, then they got that offer, which hundreds of people did. So,
That's smart.
oh, it didn't book
that's-
hundreds, but
That's a really smart
it got you in the door with all these people, and then if they're entering your competition, they're obviously going to check out your work, and then if they feel like they've won something from you, then it's sort of
especially with the wedding, like, because it's not like when I think of a wedding photographer, I don't think, oh, this person, but if you're like, oh, I'm going to get married, I'm going to need a photographer, oh, this guy does weddings, I won this thing with him, and then you automatically, it doesn't matter how far down the track, you more than likely will be the first sort of person to think of, which is real smart.
You've already had some sort of contact with them without it being talking about, do you want to book me? It sort of introduced you in a different sort of light where they were already excited to feel like they've already got something, and then half the time so some of the prizes was like a discount, or some of it was a free engagement shoot. That was a really good one, because then they actually got to see what it's like in front of your camera. And if you can do good photos with them and they felt comfortable with you, there is no reason they won't book you, no matter what amount you wanted to charge them. Because I feel like it's when you're looking for a wedding photographer, most people have never really been in front of a camera before. So people are always just like, oh, what's this going to be like? I'm so 99% of every single couple I booked, all of them would say the same thing to me. They were like, oh, we've never really had photos, so we're not going to be like everyone else on your website. I'm like, you're literally saying what everyone else does anyway. So I think, in photography, it's a massive thing just to be comfortable with someone, because if you're comfortable with a person, then you can make people look natural.
Especially in weddings, because it's quite like intimate, you know?
For sure. Especially with photography, because a lot of people, like, even if you think of getting your photo taken, you think, oh, I'll be fine. But as soon as you're staring down the barrel of the lens, and like there's someone on the other side of it that you sort of, you've spoken to over Messenger or whatever, you sort of half know them. It's a pretty awkward thing. Very awkward thing.
So that was sort of the photography side of things, getting into weddings. And I did weddings for a long time. And then, that's when I And I guess the thing, it's so easy, and you'd know about this, Jaden, when you're a photographer or videographer, like your passion's photography, videography, and you just have to learn business to go along with
100%.
it. It doesn't matter how good you are at the thing. If you don't know business, you're going to get nowhere.
Yeah, 100%.
And so that was sort of a cool way to be introduced into business, having to learn what marketing is, what all this accounting is, how to get in front of people, how to close people, and so it sort of sucks at the same time because most people who are creative just aren't interested in that at all.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you're wanting to go down the route of business, then it's perfect for that as well. And
100%. Especially, you go.
Oh no, you go. Sorry.
Especially if you're gonna want to try and like shoot good stuff, because like if you're just shooting what I guess you sort of start out in, you're sort of passionate about, you find it fun. It's sort of hard if you sort of just stick at that sort of level to like grow sort of business and get a name and get like bigger clients and shoot bigger stuff, cooler stuff, go on trips and all that sort of stuff. If you don't sort of do it properly and build a business around it, you never sort of get there, I don't think. You're sort of just stuck doing these little things here, or shoot here for this person, or just local sort of stuff. It's real hard to sort of grow and obviously earn money as well. But I went through the exact same thing.
All right, good to see us.
It's getting late.
How long were you doing your wedding stuff up here for? Before you transitioned into...
To be honest, it wasn't that long ago that I stopped.
Yeah.
I think I got really burnt out by weddings. I always enjoyed it. And then something happened, I think, because I ended up shooting about 50 to 70 weddings a year, which is like crazy. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I sort of got stuck in that trap of it a bit.
Yeah.
And I was starting to get really burnt out. And at the same time, I call it the 5% of my customers or clients. The 95% of them were good, but the 5% that just that not even really bridezillas, just indecisive people. So you'd shoot their wedding, and I think the biggest thing that got to me with weddings, it was such a long job.
Yeah.
People generally book you 12 to 18 months out from their wedding, and then you're generally dealing with them for at least 6 months after that. So it's close to a 2-year job just to get a wedding done. And it made it really hard because in amongst all this as well, I started doing some vlogging and helping out my brother with content and stuff. And it's like in this content, hell, a trip gets brought up 2 weeks ago and then the next minute we're there. And
It's hectic. Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? We're going to fly to Airleaf.
Yeah. Actually, we changed our mind. We're driving and you got to drive. Then we lose a tyre, so we're driving 50 all the way there. Anyway, that's another story.
My God. Instantly sweating.
But yeah, it just became really hard to plan ahead because I was giving up my life 2 years in advance, and I was just like, I have no idea where I want to be in 2 years anymore. So I started to scale them back, and then just had some old clients just indecisive. When you have wedding albums, all they have to do is select their photos for their albums and their prints and that sort of stuff, and they were just too indecisive and couldn't get it done. And I should have, looking back now, I definitely should have put it in my contracts. If you're not done by this date, I'm choosing for you and you're getting what you're given. But because I didn't have that, and then I was stuck with all these jobs open, there's only so many times you can sort of follow up before you're like, you know what, they'll get back to me when they get back to me. I can't chase this forever. So by the time you stop following up a few people, and like I said, this was a minority of them, but over 10 years of doing it, and like to this day I've had to keep that company open for a couple of weddings back in 2018 that are still waiting for this. So that's what it's like, and it's 5 years on now. I'm like, I just can't close off this job because I'm not going to chase them up anymore, but they might come to me tomorrow and say, hey,
and
we never got this. And I'm like, oh, well, you can't now. Like, technically I'm contracted on it. So
how frustrating.
That's another thing you learn about business. You wouldn't like having that in a contract would be massive.
Huge. And you don't realize till you've got 20 clients that weddings were 5 years ago and you're stuck on it, and you're just, there's nothing you can do because it's so long ago now as well. So that with being burnt out and then just a bunch of those sort of situations, it really started to get on me. I was like, I need to start doing something else. Like I can't deal with these people anymore.
Lost that passion for it almost.
It got in the way of the passion, which sucks because I feel like I've never properly sort of done photography as much ever since. And and any time and I've thought of going back to, because now that I've gone through a lot of social media and stuff over the last few years, I now know if I went back to weddings, how I would do it differently. Just like a marketing structure, I know I could absolutely nail.
Well, what you're saying about then adding that to the contract, that's something that if you went back to it, you'd make sure that was in place, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, but if there's any people that are in weddings out there, hit me up, because I feel like I've got the ultimate marketing structure. I just can't be fucked going back to it. And about a year ago, I think I even spoke to you about it. I was like, I know what to do in weddings. I need to go back, and I'm thinking of just starting a company, hiring other people to do it, but it just sank in over a bit. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't go back. It just scarred me. Some of those old stuff, I'm like, do I really want to deal with that? So I guess it's good in a way. It teaches you sort of what you know you want to be doing and stuff, and you sometimes just got to listen to yourself like that.
Because,
100%. I've had it in the past where I started another company, which was like a shoe company. Because once I was doing weddings in a routine, had the marketing on lock, was good at selling, I was just like, I can just take this model and put it into another business and I should be sweet. And started another business. It was a shoe company, but I know for a fact that I did that for money. I had no passion about it at all. I was
you just thought
there's a bit of a gap here. I'm going to make money here, stuff it. So when sort of invested a whole lot of money into it, set up a store in Brizzy in the middle of the valley and stuff, so it wasn't sort of cheap.
Oh wow.
And then it sort of worked out all right, because I sort of set up, just put a wall straight down the middle of this space I got, and then turned one side into my photography studio, the other side was a shoe shop. So I could sort of do both from there. But it was also at the same time where I was starting to get into vlogging and doing some social media stuff. And at that stage, I was like literally in my first few months of vlogging, but I was putting all of my time into that and zero time into building this business. And I knew it from the start as well. I'm like, I really should put more into this other business. But I was just I just enjoy doing this. So maybe that's what I should be doing.
100%.
And I sort of let that one fail pretty quickly, because I knew if I dragged it on for too long, it was bound to fail anyway.
You just keep bleeding over this.
And because I realized what I'd got into it for, like you ask yourself the question, it's like, oh, why did you start this? I'm like, money, straight up. If that's your answer, then you're probably not in it for the right thing, and you're probably not going to put all your efforts into it
100%.
the way you should. So as soon as I could answer that for that reason, I was like, nah, I've got to sort of just
cut your losses,
cut the losses, and do something I know that my heart's into it.
100%.
And that sort of ended up being some social media content, which has sort of been going on since then. And
when did you start really getting into that?
social media? Would have been about 2018. Sort of started off doing it with Shami. Actually, might have even been earlier. But sort of, because it was never really a thing. It was not a thing. It was just sort of making videos and chucking them on Facebook. No one made money from this stuff at all. And I always give props to Shami. He was one of the very first people in the world. There was like a handful of people. There was like Shami, there was Jackson, there was people like Vitali, Lance 210, and there was probably 10 people in the world that were
doing this sort of stuff.
And it didn't really make sense at the start, because it's like, oh, for what? Oh, sweet, you got your 5 minutes of fame. And it's like, but then it sort of started to take shape where social media was becoming the world. Everything was starting to go this way. And so, it sort of, none of it was looked at as a business back then, but it was just like, oh, let's do videos together. Same as vlogging back in the day. No one looked at it for money. It was just like, you enjoyed doing it. And so, I started helping Sham out with a bunch of that. And then he got on early. He got on part of a trial sort of, I won't go too many details. You can podcast him one day for his journey. But he got invited to start on this trial of monetization on Facebook. And so he was able to sort of start businesses inside of that. I started to help him along with that. And that's sort of been a journey that's continuing still to this day. So
Yeah,
it's built up crazily there, and now we're
Yeah.
doing our own thing and building an audience here, and want to start building businesses off the back of that as well.
Do you
So
think you have taken a lot from doing it with Shams and now doing your own sort of stuff?
what do you mean, sorry?
As in, like, do you think you've learnt a lot from when you were originally doing it with Shami to now you doing your own
Oh,
things?
100%. Yeah, there's and it's funny to think about, but like even creating a little video that's a prank and stuff, there's proper structure behind that video. You're
100%.
always
A lot
putting
goes
a
into it.
structure. It's like, okay, first few seconds has to capture people, or you can discount the rest of the video.
Yeah.
So first few seconds is important. By the 45-second stage, you need to start getting them curious about something, because if you want them to watch the next 2 minutes, then that's your key. So it became like it's almost like a blueprint of
Yeah.
create a video in this way, and you've got a good chance of going viral.
Yeah.
So not a good chance of going viral.
Increases the chances.
Yeah.
Just for that
Makes it
engagement
more-
side,
yeah.
Just how to retain viewers, I guess, it's sort of like just a structure and mind hack of how to do that inside people.
A
and-
lot of people wouldn't understand that sort of stuff, and
No.
you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
take that into every different business too, because
Yeah.
social media is so powerful these days. Whatever you're doing,
Yeah, 100%.
And it's
Plays
just-
a major part.
understanding people's attention, I guess.
Yeah.
Knowing that people have very little attention, so how do you grab that attention, and then how do you hold it and get them to listen to you?
Yeah, 100%.
Listen to you, or just watch your video if it's just entertainment. So
Yeah. And you do that by painting half your car blue.
I'll get them to, well, in saying that, it's funny you say that, but at the same time, it's like, making a deal with the audience, and if they do this, then we make another video of me doing my car blue. That's an engagement hack as well.
Yeah.
Just because engagement's another huge one. People still on Facebook and businesses and stuff, they'll be like, the reach is gone. It doesn't work anymore. That's it's all TikTok, which probably is, let's be honest. But people just think that it's impossible to get any reach on these platforms anymore.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I even tested this with one of my good friends. He's a professional skateboarder, and he's like huge, and he released this video part online and stuff, and so that was on social media actually, and he posted this one clip of him doing a trick down this massive set of stairs, so a big trick, and it still probably got, I can't even remember how many views it got. It was in the thousands of views, so he was happy with that. And I caught up with him one day and I said, why don't you, because I knew for a fact that it took him quite a few attempts to get that trick.
Yeah.
And I said, why don't you make a video of every single attempt that it took to get that that thing? And he's like, I'm a professional skater. It kind of looks bad if I'm like,
keep failing.
trust me, people would love to see how hard you hustled for that trick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you still have all the footage? He's like, the filmer would. I could probably get it from him. I'm like, trust me, do this, chuck it on your page and see what happens. And so he did it, and it ended up with hundreds of thousands of views because
True.
people wanted to watch through that journey and see what it took to get that trick. It's so much more intriguing than just watching, he did that trick, he's invincible, he's just way better, and that's that. It's like, it brings it back to a real human. It's like, no, that took a lot.
yeah, he
100%.
failed several times before
Yeah.
he actually achieved it.
And seeing a journey of something, I think people are just interested in that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, a bit more personal, I guess, because I see all the failures and then
Yeah.
sick.
So it's like all the failures make that success even more rewarding, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm.
And so you're doing social media now. Is that sort of what you want to stick to sort of doing, or is there what's in the works for Mr. Jashan?
So I've got a little kid now as well. This little one here. It sounds like she's just
I
woken
can
up.
hear her.
Yeah, but so that Marsh, you'd know a lot as well. It sucks a lot of time.
It's a game changer. But also in saying that, for me, it's like a massive purpose change.
Yeah.
Like, as in, you feel like, I know, so much more driven. Well,
Yeah.
that's me anyway.
Yeah, 100%. You just, you've got a different reason to be doing things.
Definitely.
Yeah, so for right now, it's still just building on our social media and building those audiences. And then I've got a few ideas. I won't get into details yet because it's probably going to be late this year that we'll launch one of these ideas and stuff, and I don't really want to say it for someone else. So I'll hold off on that. But right now it's building those audiences, yeah, continuing that on social media, because once you've got that audience, it's crazy what you can do with it. So
Yeah,
So,
100%.
so powerful these days.
yeah,
Especially if you build it properly.
and the amount of money that can be spent of just on getting an ad in front of people. Whereas if you can build the audience and have people fans of you, then you get that for free, and you've got more chance of people buying because they are loyal to you
Yeah,
and
100%.
trust you. So yeah, it's really focusing on that at the moment, and building that sort of loyal community, I guess. So,
Yeah.
and then there can be sort of businesses.
Can we dive into that a little bit and maybe talk about some sort of tricks and stuff that you use to build your social media? Like, how often are you posting? Do you know how you were saying before about the engagement, like you want someone to be engaged? Like, can we talk about some of that sort of stuff? So people that are trying to potentially build their own social medias that might be watching this?
Yeah, for sure. So what to do, or
Yeah, so maybe talk about, so like how often are you posting?
consistency is a big one. Consistency is huge. Anytime I find myself not posting consistently, it's one, yes, it's harder to get those numbers again, because I think it's just algorithmically
fall out,
like that,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But two, personally, it's just harder to get into it. And I'm in this trap with vlogging right now. Vlogging is probably my favorite thing to do, but I am so inconsistent right now, and I'm struggling to keep up. Yeah.
It's be hard to keep, like, to find sort of interesting, engaging content when it comes to that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
To do it properly. It takes
But-
time.
Yeah, and I feel like anyone that gets into YouTube and stuff, you find, even podcasting, you'll find if users doing this consistently every single week, and then you just have a month off, you'll come back that first week and be like, shit, how do we start? What do we do?
Yeah.
What are we gonna say here?
Yeah,
It's just, no matter how much experience you have in it, it's like if you take a break from it and you just feel like you're lost as soon as you come back. So consistency is a huge one for both reasons, in the algorithms and yourself. You just find it harder to get back into.
Yeah.
And then just engaging with people who are watching your videos. And never taking it to, because if you're going to try get on social media, just understand that there will be haters.
Yeah.
And to be honest, haters are a good thing. I embrace that, because actually here's a bit of a hack for you. If you want a video to go well, you need to cause a bit of a rift. You need to divide opinions. You need some people fighting for that and some people fighting for that. And in some videos, I even just little things that will get that engagement there. So something simple. What's a recent one that's just so simple, but you throw that question out there that not gets people arguing, but people on both sides of the
Starts a
fence.
conversation.
Do you keep chocolate in the fridge? So
Yes.
Yes.
no.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Yes, you do.
No, now you're
It's
pissing
so
me
much
off.
nicer. It's like little crispy. Oh,
No, but something like that where
Yeah.
people have divided opinions.
Yeah.
And
What about sauce in the fridge or in the cupboard?
no, sauce is in the fridge.
yeah. What are you?
Yeah, the sauce.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've done that in a video, because I asked in the comments and I said, look, it even says on the bottle, so if you would disagree with me, you're already wrong. But
Yeah.
still, people on both sides. And one, it gets people talking in there. But if you can split opinions and get other people arguing in your comments,
Yeah.
guess what? You don't have to engage with anyone. People will do it for you and send your video viral.
Yeah.
So controversy just works. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be hectic controversy, though. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
simple things that can divide opinions so simply. And that's sometimes why you'll see videos go viral just from a random account, and you're like, what on earth? Like, how is that viral? It's probably because it's got something in that video. Or to see how people went viral, easiest thing to do is go to the comments. What are people talking about?
Yeah.
If there's a common theme in that comments, that's the thing that made it go viral. If people well, it happens
Even
like,
if it's negative comments.
yeah.
What
And
happened to what?
You right?
what happened to what? Is what all right?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Oh, what's happening?
I thought what was fine.
What?
What was fine last time I checked
what?
in.
Yeah, what's fun?
Thank you, Siri. Thanks for checking in anyway. Google, whoever you are. What were we talking about?
Going viral.
Oh,
So
yeah.
starting conversations and checking comments.
Yeah, it's all to do with watch time. Like we were talking earlier, if you can get people hooked and then make them curious somewhere in that video that will keep them watching further to see an answer at the end, then audience retention is a massive one when it comes to videos. The longer they watch your video, the more these platforms are going to push it out, because these platforms want you being hooked on their platform. So if we can make... If I can make you sit on that platform for longer, they're going to reward me and push it out to more people, because if I can do it to you, I can probably do it to them.
How does the paying side of things? How do people get paid on social media? Is there like a certain sort of engagement you need to be reaching? Like how does it work?
So it's not that hard, especially on Facebook and stuff these days. So I think the numbers that you actually need is a lot lower now. I think it might be something like 5,000 followers and then so many hours of watch time. I think Facebook has just dramatically decreased it.
Yeah.
So it used to be 6,000 hours of watch time within a 90-day period or something, I think.
Yeah.
Or 60-day period. Yeah, it used to be 600,000 minutes in 60 days. It's now 60,000 minutes. So it's just become 10 times easier to get monetized on Facebook, which is crazy. And that's only pretty recent.
Yeah.
And then once you are monetized, basically Facebook will just put ads on your videos, and you don't choose which ads they are and stuff. So that's all Facebook. You just put your video out as normal, and then that's where you can start to think of, because if people don't watch the ad, you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
Which comes back to, again, making people curious in a place where you know an ad's going to be.
Yeah.
If people get curious and like, oh, what's happening next, and then an ad pops up, there's a better chance of them watching that ad to see what happens at the other side of it. Whereas if you've given away the whole video and no one really needs to watch further, then that's that. So that's on the monetization side of things. But
I mean, there's also like what you're saying before about like building a brand and that sort of stuff. Like, I guess in a way that's monetization.
So that comes with what we're doing right now. So we're sort of just in a good, consistent rhythm of doing that right now. So right now, while we're building an audience, we're just trying to stay in this current routine, because the thing with social media, things can change very quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
Facebook can tomorrow say, all right, we're not doing this anymore because now we're focusing on Reels, which, by the way, did happen on Instagram. They brought out Instagram TV, and I was actually part of the trial of being monetized on there. And then TikTok became a huge thing. So Instagram combated that with Reels, and then we all just got an email saying, hey, we've stopped in Instagram TV now. We're focusing on Reels. So that quickly, just to keep up with what the world's doing.
Yeah, whatever's trending.
Yeah, so it's sort of like, if you're in a routine and things are good right now, go hard at that, because it could change. So, and I learned that big time from a few years ago. I lost monetization on my page for over 12 months.
True.
And I didn't even go against any guidelines. It was saying I was using copyrighted material, which I wasn't at all. So it was something that went wrong that triggered it, and there is no one you can talk to. But lost it, and I literally lost it for 12 months. And I was just like, okay, my Facebook video days are probably done here. But then randomly switched back on after the 12 months, and it's funny, once you lose something, you're like, wow, I had it good. Why did I not go harder at that?
So now it's back.
But so now it's back. Yeah, I guess I've got a good appreciation for it. So I'm like, okay, let's go hard at this. Like, I lost it once before and wasn't happy that I didn't put all my efforts into it, because when things are good, it's really good. So now it's back. I'm trying to do that.
How much are you trying to post every week at the moment?
Right now, on my page, I try to post five days a week. And then we've recently started a page for my wife as well, which is a lot more like sort of couple challenges and games and all that sort of stuff. Which we're actually, that's probably where we're going to put a bit more focus in, because we know that the audience we're going to pull from that is going to be right into the niche of families, of couples, of just relationship kind of things. And how I mentioned earlier, we've got something that we're probably going to launch later this year, that's our niche for that.
That's that niche.
So
cool.
we're going to put quite a bit of effort into her page. We probably want to try post at least 3 times a week on there
Yeah.
right now, and then that'll build as it gets bigger and more time gets freed up for that. And then YouTube. I wish I could say I was posting weekly on YouTube, but yeah, like I said, I'm out of a routine for vlogs right now, even though it's my favorite kind of content to do.
Yeah.
Completely out of a routine, and and I'm struggling.
What do you enjoy so much about vlogging?
I don't know. I think it's just
fun.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just
You can kind of be yourself and
it's just so much more. It's just like living your life and trying to do fun things to capture.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
not
don't
so
know how
much
to explain
like-
it. It's just such more of a. Not so much trying to think of that structure. How I was saying, it's like when you're doing a video, it's like, okay, I've got to get this. With the short form content on like Facebook, TikTok, and all that, it seems easy to just do
so
really
much behind the scenes that's involved.
yeah,
with it.
and it's not even that. It's
Planning.
just the thought of like, okay, how can I be the one that stands out very quickly in this video?
Yeah.
Because there's so much more of it, and you're constantly trying to think. It's like, how do I start this? What do I say? I need to get this much across, but I want to say it in as little words as possible.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot more thinking in that sense. Whereas vlogs, you
Bit
kind of
more long
just,
form.
I feel like you kind of just do it and then think about it in the edit in a way. You
Yeah.
just go have fun. Don't really have to think too much about the structure. You do, just not as much. And so it feels like just a bit more fun, I guess.
Yeah. You can just sort of have like a rough storyline, just sort of cut up in editing to make it fun
Yeah.
to watch.
But vlogging definitely doesn't make anywhere near as much money as you can on other platforms for some, but it's a lot harder.
Well, I think vlogging, you got to be like generally like interested in whoever's vlogging, otherwise you're not going to watch it. Whereas other videos, anyone can stop and watch them if they're engaging.
Yeah. But if you're not worried about the monetization, vlogging is your most loyal fan base out there.
Yeah.
On all these other platforms, if a video goes viral, it generally just pops up in front of you.
Yeah.
Whereas vlogging, if they're watching your video, they've either seeked you out to watch your video, they are already following you, or they've seen your thumbnail and title, and they've chosen to watch it. It hasn't just popped up in a feed and started auto playing.
Yeah.
So if you can capture people on YouTube, they're definitely your most loyal fan base, I find. Whereas other platforms, easier to get views, just harder to retain a super loyal fan base.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Cool. That's almost. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I've got a question. What do you think, through going through all these different, I guess, ventures and stuff, what do you think would probably be your number one, say, life lesson that's kind of helped you to be where you are today?
Definitely, if you're not passionate about it, don't bother. Like, you've got to be passionate about what you're doing, otherwise you're always just going to be half-assed. If you're passionate about it, you can probably make it succeed. So if you've got a passion and you just don't know how to do anything with it, there's a way. And if it hasn't really been done before, then it's probably even more opportunity for you once you figure that out. But yeah, you definitely be passionate about what you're doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, 100% agree. Oh, well, thanks for jumping on, Josh. I really appreciate it. And,
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll have to get you back on in a couple months' time once you're launching that thing, and we can spill the beans.
Yeah, probably later this year. So
Yeah, cool.
I'll keep you in the loop and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
But
Thank you.
until then, I'll see you tomorrow.